What's up, Qui-Gons? Trethens here. Thought we'd do a weekly recap video. It's Friday nights. I don't have much going on before I play some Fortnite. It's super exciting like that. And if you're listening to this, you're probably bored as well, so let's hang out together. So let's talk about the week. Let's see. So, sad news. Obi-Wan left the guild. That's the elephant, or in this case, the whale in the room. That's alright though. Not too sad. Hi, Titu. He's still a member of the community. That's what we really care about. I've spoke before that I think our community, at least for me, extends beyond the game. If you leave the game, if you leave the guild, we'll still let you hang out. As long as you have cookies. Maybe some cat pictures. Dog pictures work too. Happy birthday to RCM and Framing Dragon. Both have birthdays today. They may be the same person. We have people looking into that. So far, the evidence is pretty convincing. No one's seen both of them in the same room at the same time. That would mean that Bones and Framing Dragon are related. For those that don't know, Bones and RCM are brothers. It would make perfect sense, considering how often Framing calls Bones a vulgar name. That seems like a very brotherly thing. Now, to be fair, Framing calls most people vulgar names quite a bit. He's got a bit of a potty mouth on him. Big congratulations to Foxy Moxie and Diz Murray. They had a beautiful baby daughter today. So, if you didn't know, they're married. Wasn't two children, just the one. Big congratulations to them. And shout out to Foxy. She got her 600 daily tickets while being pregnant. Pregnancy is probably the only excuse we'll accept for not getting your 600, but she didn't let that stop her. I'm just kidding. The 600 is not that big of a deal. It's not like Des got it. She was the one giving a baby. She got it. Moving on. J Dollars bought a house this week, sometime last week, something like that. So congrats to him. He said he's also going to be leaving the country on there for a while. I don't know what that's about. Not an excuse to not get your 600 for the record. Thought we would load up a raid battle. This is not a team I recommend. Just having a little bit of fun. See, they're already almost dead. They suck. Let's see. Moving on. If anyone else had anything going on this week and I missed it, I apologize. It sounds like Force did some traveling. Somewhere crappy. Seems like Force always travels crappy places. Oh yeah, that taunt's not gonna work, is it? Big surprise there. And Stone Trooper Han continues to be worthless. I will break down basically when Force travels, how that works. Gets drunk at an airport bar, then eats the food, usually the sushi, and then questions himself about drinking at airport bars and eating airport sushi. Better than gas station sushi, at least. Let's talk a little bit about the game. So we had a lot of people unlock Jedi Training Ray this week. So congratulations to everyone that unlocked her. We've already seen a lot of you, like Gear 8 Jedi Ray is putting up millions of damage in the Sith raid, so that's definitely going to help us there. So congratulations to all the new folks that have unlocked her. If you don't know how to use her, or use her in the raid, or in arena, there's a couple videos back there that show that. Other things in the game, so Smithy D came out with a heroic P1 video showing a Jedi raid team doing over 10% in the raid, 13% in fact. So shout out to him, that's going to be super helpful as we move to heroic. Sir George's, I like that name a lot. He's got a Night Sister video of them putting up over 3 million in heroic in P4. Our very own Handle has committed to beating that with a team comp. He's guaranteed me at least 4 million. He might not have actually said that, but that's the job I gave him. Shout out to Sir Georges. And then McMole came out with his Chex Mix team for P3. So the team comps are coming. Heroic's going to be, I think, a lot sooner than people originally thought. So we will be discussing that team comps, what to farm, where to farm. shortly. A little CG news. So Rydigs, who's one of their developers, probably, was on the forums, took offense to someone saying that they didn't like Scion and not to invest in any Sith. He or she took it as meaning don't spend money on the game, which is understandable. You don't really want that on the forums. Kind of made an example out of it, had a whole thread about it. I took it, and I think most people took it as just saying don't invest your materials, don't like your gear, stun cuffs, things like that in the Sith. Rydigs probably meant well, but some people don't know how to communicate through text very well. Riled up a lot of members on the forums. So CG went and had a Q&A session, like an emergency Q&A session that night, live Q&A. Obviously the two are related. Not a ton of stuff was covered. I'll touch a little bit on it. They're working on mod sets or mod switches, an easier way to switch mods. They are talking about doing a Bronzium multipole on there. Capgasp, who's probably my favorite developer, at least from what I've seen of him, has said he'd rather just see Bronziums go away. They gave all those points back when tournaments were going on, so everyone has a ton of Bronzium saved up for the allied points, and they don't really do anything. Now, to be fair, Capgasp was also the one that said, don't bother saving those for anything. You can burn those. And then tournaments came out. They also said that they are working to make it so you don't have to refresh Arena 100 times to get to the battle that you want. That the top battle will always be kind of static, will be placed there. I think that's interesting because that's not really a technical issue. That was more of something that they designed. Like, clearly, they put RNG in place and they put in a lower percentage for you to go to the highest battle than other ones. So it's interesting design switch that they're talking about that. GW, Galactic War and Arena Store, they said no plans to update those at all. They consider those to be fodder for the Shard Shop. Little tip here. If you're not spending a lot of Galactic War currency, ships get you slightly more. So those three netted me 228s. Oops. And when I say slightly, I mean slightly. $228 versus $225. They get you one more per. But hey, if you're not burning through them very quickly, might as well get that one extra. But for Galactic War and Arena, they have said they're just going to use that as Shard Shop. Personally, for me, I buy mods with the Arena tokens. I buy credits, which then turn into mods. I forgot to finish my challenges before the reset. That's alright. I missed one yesterday anyway. Let's talk about the mod store. So I'm at the point now, as the credits start to dwindle, as the ship credits start to dwindle from buying these, I'll still buy pretty much every speed arrow if it's a 5 dots, but I'm now becoming much, much more picky on the other mods that I buy. They're going to need to be at least purple. I'm not buying blues anymore, even if they have speed. I'm going to want a good secondary, or a good primary stat. Obviously, that's a 4 dot. I'm not buying any 4 dots on there. Like, I wouldn't buy that one. It's potency mod, it's tenacity. Even if it had speed, I wouldn't buy that. Just, there's a lot of mods in there. You can burn through your credits really quickly. Don't want to get in a situation where there's a gold protection, crit damage with speed, and I don't have the credits to buy it. Same with ship credits. I'm down to about 10 million ship credits, so I've become much more frugal with those. J-Dollars recently stated, what has been the point of hoarding lately, as if hoarding wasn't the best strategy. I would like to point out that if you weren't hoarding credits or ship credits, that you could not have bought any of these mods. So to J-Dollars, I would kindly state, suck it. Hoarding's always the way to go. You never know what's coming. Credit heist today. Make sure you get that. I got my cool 5 million. Woohoo. Sith Raid is up. get in there, do some damage. I don't think there's much else to talk about. Rose, Tycho, and the Hodor's wife, Holdo, the purple-haired girl. They both went to Chromiums. Nobody really cares. What that should mean, if they're going to Chromiums, is that Night Sister, Zombie, and Mother Talzin, and maybe Spirit, who cares, should become farmable soon, along with First Order Executioner. That was one thing they addressed in the Q&A. People asked about the cadence and how it's completely off. And they said, yeah, we've got off this. We're going to get back onto it. We're going to release more information on that. A couple months ago, they said literally the exact same thing. They put out the cadence, which was pretty cool. You know, every 6 to 8 weeks, it's going to switch on there. And then they followed it for a little bit. People were happy. Then they stopped following it. And people called them on it. And they said, we're going to start following that. They never did. And now they're saying they're going to start following it again. Really, it's better to never give people something than to give it to them and then take it away. If you can't follow the cadence, don't put a cadence out there. That's my personal opinion on it. People were also upset about Jedi Training Rey only having the 3 days to farm her. I will be perfectly honest. Never really should have stopped from if you didn't get her the first time. I understand they threw Unmasked Kylo and they threw his ship on the same Cantina node, which was very, very nice. And there's always a lot of stuff to farm, and the vets aren't very good characters, but especially when the Sith Raid came out and it was obvious that JTR was the top team, should have been farming her right from that moment, even if she had stopped. But the 3-day notice, people weren't very happy about. They've kind of been what they do. They're going after that panic money on there. And somebody asked about that, and they said, well, we just talked about the character cadence. So they're referencing their own answer to the question about how they weren't doing it right, that they were going to do it better. Then they came out with Luke CLS here just, a couple days ago, today? I don't know. And apparently there was really no notice for Luke either, so people are upset about that. Bottom line, I will be perfectly upfront with you. You're not going to get much of a notice for when legendary characters come. So if you're sitting around and there's one you're like, well, I'm sure they'll give me plenty of farm time and I'll start farming for them when they announce it. That's not the case. Have the characters as soon as you can. You don't know when they're coming back. Rey came back before most people expected her. I expected her not necessarily this soon, but I expected her fairly soon just because the new raid came out. Didn't think about the DVD release of the movie. But CG is CG. That's the way they do it. Stop getting mad at them and start doing what you can to prevent it. Anyway, we might do this again next week. Depends if there's anything interesting. As usual, longer than I intended. If you stuck around the whole time, congratulations to you. I hope I made your Friday night a little bit better. Anyway, until next time, see you guys.